Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Cullip Hour Podcast and Review Show. I am Jacob Cullip, as you have joined me on the Jacob Cullip YouTube channel, and today on the podcast we will be discussing my favourite album of all time. It is Oasis's Definitely Maybe, released on the 29th of August 1994 by Creation Records. It was produced by Mark Coyle, Owen Morris, David Batchelor, and of course the man himself, Noel Gallagher. And I have to say, this album is absolutely amazing. I just love this album, to be honest, ever since I first heard it and became an Oasis fan. And whenever you see like a top list of an Oasis albums, it's always the top two are Definitely Maybe or Morning Glory, and not in that specific order, but probably my order, to be honest. But yeah, they're the two the best albums in British history, to be honest. But we'll discuss what's the story in Morning Glory later on in the next episode, but today we will discuss Definitely Maybe. Well, it's nothing I can say really. It's just I love this album from the first song to the last. It just flows beautifully. You know, like a perfect Harry Potter, for example, just absolutely flows through the pages, and you just can't stop listening to it. And was from the first song, Rock and Roll Star, all the way to the last song, Married with Children. And there's so many good songs on here. You got hard rock songs like, Bring It On Down, which is personally one of my favourite songs upon the album. And then you got youth culture of the time with songs as Cigarettes and Alcohol, which is a very misleading title for some people, and probably why Oasis are a bit controversial. But anyway, let's get on to the facts of this album. It sold 8 million copies worldwide, which is staggering for a debut album, and at the time in Britain, it was the best-selling debut album of all time in Britain. It's just amazing. Of course, everyone knows the famous cover of Definitely Maybe. All the band members from Liam, Noel, Bonehead, Guigsy, and of course Tony McCarroll, which everyone was very half and half with Tony McCarroll and Alan White. Obviously, Alan White was Stolen Morning Glory all the way to the Hindu Times as the drummer of Oasis, and yeah, it's very split on Tony McCarroll. Some people love him, some people don't like him. Of course, Noel kicked him out after they released, some might say, and I personally prefer Alan White. He's a very good drummer, but Tony is good in his own right, and we'll discuss Tony McCarroll later on in the album. And yeah, obviously going back to the cover, we've just got on to other stories there. Going back to the cover, with obviously Liam on the floor, then you got Noel playing the acoustic guitar, then you got Bonehead, and then you got Guigsy, and then you got Tony McCarroll looking at the TV. There's all lots of different features in here. And you got obviously the acoustic guitar, then you got Bonehead's guitar right at the end, and Guigsy standing right at the end of the window, and Tony McCarroll sitting down watching the TV, and of course Liam, my favourite, literally lying on the floor. Absolutely, it's mad to see with this album cover. Was just literally picking up the vinyl here. Obviously, people listen to it very differently back then. It was CDs of the time. I've got it on vinyl, and personally, and yeah, this album cover is absolutely amazing. And then I open up the vinyl, and you've got the picture of Liam and Noel and all the band members outside. Then you've got Columbia, the vinyl record, a Columbia demo written by Noel Gallagher, which is quite staggering really. Columbia, obviously one of the first that they did. And obviously with the story of Oasis, everyone's heard it over so many thousand times. Obviously Supersonic, the documentary, which I recommend. If you haven't ever heard Oasis' story, I recommend to watch Supersonic, which is currently on Netflix right now. It covers the story of them signing by Alan McGee of Creation Records, and then it goes from Definitely Maybe, the time before Definitely Maybe as well, all the way to Nebworth, which is their most famous concert. And yeah, we'll discuss Nebworth. That is on the next album, which is What's the Story in Morning Glory. But going back to Definitely Maybe, obviously this was the foundations that built Oasis into you could say they're more popular in Britain, but most of the world do know who the Gallagher brothers are. And yeah, we'll get on to before we get on to the first onto the track list, I should say. It's a fun fact that the band was sued $500,000 by Coca-Cola for the song Shaker Maker, which is the second song on the album. And it sounds, well, I have to say, it sounds so, obviously Noel's famous for quote-unquote stealing songs or being like the Beatles. There are comparisons that they are like the Beatles, especially in, do you know what I mean, where they mention, Fool on the Hill, so many Beatles references. But I am a Beatles fan as well, but I do like Oasis. But personally, I don't really care, if they have Beatles references, because everyone, knows the Beatles, and everyone wants to be the Beatles, because ever since then, has anyone ever reached their heights? Oasis, Oasis is my favourite band, but I don't think they're anywhere near the Beatles. But moving on again, and we're going to, so they were sued $500,000 by Coca-Cola for the song Shaker Maker, because it sounds very similar to the advert at the time, I Like to Teach the World to Sing. I'd say it is very similar, because with like the first mention on the album, on Shaker Maker, it's like, I like to be somebody else and not know where I'd be, and it's like, I like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony, which is the Coca-Cola one, so it is very, very, very similar. But yeah, talking about the songs, let's move on to the track list. And yeah, the first song of the album is Rock and Roll Star. Was very good song, I have to say. Obviously the first part of the song, it's like, I live my life in the city, there ain't no easy way out, the day's moving just too fast for me. Absolutely amazing start to the song. And it's just, as Noel said, it's a song about moving away from the city and making money, which obviously, and then you want to be a rock and roll star. Who doesn't want to be a rock and roll star, to be honest? And Liam's vocals on this song are absolutely staggering. They're amazing. You can't say anything else about it. It's not my favourite song on the album, but I do appreciate Rock and Roll Star. All the songs were written by Noel, and yeah, it was played it's played during the Definitely Maybe times. I don't really remember it being played after Definitely Maybe times, sort of all the concerts I've watched of Oasis. But yeah, it is Oasis in their prime, and I consider Oasis prime to be from 94 to 98, so that's Definitely Maybe What's Still in Morning Glory, Be Here Now, to The Master Plan. And yeah, the next song on the album, as we've discussed, Shaker Maker, very controversial for all the money reasons, but a very good song. I saw a clip of Noel the other day saying he doesn't remember when he wrote it or why he wrote it. It's much about nonsense, isn't it? You got Mr. Clean, Mr. Ben, it's basically an advertisement song, isn't it? It's like Mr. Clean and Mr. Ben are living in my loft. It's quite a funny line. The most notable part of that is I like to be somebody else and not know where I'd be. I like to build myself a house. It's very, very out of plasticine. Just remember that now. I haven't got all the lyrics literally written or in my notes. I literally mostly all remember them. But yeah, I absolutely love that part of the song. And it's not their best song. Rock and Roll Star's definitely a better song than Shaker Maker. And then we move on to the third song of the album. Absolutely amazing, Live Forever. You can't say anything about this song. It's just staggering. I remember the story, which is in Supersonic, and it was Bonehead discussing that when he first heard Was It Live Forever, when Noel played it to them, he said, "You did not write that song," and he's like, "I did." It just shows this was before they were signed to Creation Records, and everyone could notice what a song this was going to be. And the first single was Supersonic, which we will get on to later. Then the second single was Shaker Maker. Was it Shaker Maker? I'm trying to think now. Was it Shaker Maker? I'm confused. I think it was Shaker Maker, and then obviously Live Forever is when people started. Obviously, the first song Supersonic, which is amazing, but it didn't chart too well, which was their first single. Then you got Shaker Maker, which charted quite good, and then you got Live Forever, which people started to notice we need to take this band seriously. And these were released before the album even came out, so Live Forever became a cult classic before the album even came out. But I still think this song does not get recognition, for being obviously people love Live Forever, but which you see on like this. I even checked Spotify the other day. It's not even in the top 5 of charting. It's like obviously you have Wonderwall and Don't Look Back in Anger. They're great songs, but Live Forever has to be in that category. When people, the casual like fan, obviously you've got the hardcore fans of Oasis, and then the people who look into them, which is under hardcore. Then you got the casual. The casuals just want mostly listen to What's the Story Morning Glory, which obviously has Wonderwall and Don't Look Back in Anger. Then when you check like the Spotify and stuff, Live Forever's not even in the top 5. This song does get recognition, but I don't think it gets as much praise as all the other songs. Like definitely maybe that's not a song. Then Wonderwall and Don't Look Back in Anger and and even Stop Crying Your Heart Out, which has more recognition than Live Forever I've seen on like charts and stuff. But I do like Stop Crying Your Heart Out, which is not on the album. That's on Heathen Chemistry. But yeah, Live Forever, absolutely amazing song. Maybe I don't really want to know how your garden grows because I just want to fly. That's just the standout lyric. And then another one, maybe I would never be all the things that I want to be. This song brings your mood up, and obviously cheers me up quite a lot of the time because it just shows life is absolutely worth living, and also shows we don't want to go, do we? We just want life to live forever, but as everyone says, there's always a beginning and an ending to life. And then we go, which is the second side of the vinyl. Then we have Up in the Sky. I love every song on this album, but Up in the Sky I think is my second to least favourite song on the album. I like it. It's very upbeat, which most Oasis songs are, but it's not my favourite song on the album, as I should say. With obviously notable lyrics say, "Hey you, up in the sky, learning to fly, tell me how high." The lyrics just don't stand out to me as much. Obviously that one does, but it's a good song. As I've said, I love every single song on this album for different reasons, but I have to say it's not much I can say about Up in the Sky. But it's not terrible, but yeah, it's not their greatest song. And then we go on to Columbia, which some people don't even like this song. I absolutely love it. It was brought to as an instrumental, and then Noel wrote lyrics to the song, and obviously people wouldn't think that's the greatest lyrics he's ever wrote. Obviously, like the first part of, if you've seen the Oasis documentary, they say like the first part of "There we were, here we are," and then they do it in Liverpool accent. That's quite funny. It's like, "There we were, now there we are." Every time I think of that lyric, I just think of them saying it in that accent. Obviously, no offence to all the Liverpudlians. And it's not the greatest song in the world, but I love it, if I'm honest, Columbia. It's very psychedelic, obviously, like This Is Confusion, Am I Confusing You? This Is Peculiar, We Don't Want to Feel Ya, and that's just amazing. And then it's quite a long song, as most Oasis songs are. Along to the end, from the middle right to the end. It's quite long, but I quite enjoy it. It's a little jam for people who want to practice Columbia. And obviously they got introduced to Columbia at Nebworth, which was his first part of the Oasis documentary. I absolutely love that mix. Well, it's live, but I absolutely love it at and Nebworth. It's just, what a song to come on to. Yeah, if I could pick like a fan-made concert, I'd definitely put Columbia right at the start. And it's just quite a good song. Then we have the bonus song, which is on the vinyl version, which wasn't included, which is Sad Song, which is actually still performed by Liam now. But I think it's alright. It's personally not my favourite song. I usually tend to skip. I usually tend to end with it on the vinyl. But when I like to listen to it sometimes, obviously called Sad Song. It's not the most pleasant song to listen to, but I have to say, it's quite good by Noel, I have to say, but not my favourite on the album, which is still performed by Liam to this day, which is, I quite enjoy it when Liam does it, but yeah, overall not my favourite song on the album. And then we got Move on to side 3, which is Supersonic. What can I say? Well, I can't believe when I looked into this, it didn't even chart high, Supersonic, and I'm like, obviously it was their first song released, and obviously first songs don't always tend to release well, but excuse me. The lyrics to this song are absolutely staggering. You need to be yourself, you can't be no one else. What an absolute positive message to bring to people. Like whenever people feel down or questioning themselves, or for whoever they are, they're literally like, they can listen to this song and be like, yeah, I'm actually, it's a term, I'm feeling supersonic. And like, whenever I'm in a good mood, like, you don't use the words, happy or, great. When like, you walk up to people, I'm absolutely feeling supersonic today. It is probably in the dictionary. But yeah, whenever I feel supersonic, I feel absolutely great. Moving on, like, there's just obviously the story of Noel writing this album. They'll record him, Bring It On Down, and obviously that was the famous incident between him and Tony McCarroll, and obviously he wasn't doing the drums right. Then he went into a back room with Noel Gallagher and wrote this song, and he said however long it was people to eat a Chinese, he wrote it. So I don't think it was that long that he wrote it, but obviously songwriters will say their great songs will come to them naturally, and the more not the greatest songs that don't tend to do well don't come quickly. So, and obviously Supersonic is an absolutely great song, and they performed it all the time. It's a firm fan favourite, and I love it as well. It's just, obviously people will look at the lyrics and just be like, oh, not. Which obviously Oasis people say that have a bad reputation, and they're saying, oh yeah, but their songs don't have their reputation that they are. But they're actually really positive. The songs are positive, and like, they can't be positive. And one of the songs that song that's criticised on Be Here Now, which is All Around the World, and people are like, oh yeah, it's too Beatles. Yeah, it's very, very, very Beatles, which I actually like. But All Around the World, they're like, oh, it's such a positive message, and like, they're the bad boys of rock and roll. And I'm like, yeah, they are the bad boys, but if you've never listened to an Oasis song, you won't know the positive messages that they actually spread. So obviously Supersonic is, well, as I said, you need to be yourself, you can't be no one else. I'm feeling supersonic, give me gin and tonic. You can have it all, but how much do you want it? Which is absolutely amazing. It's obviously testing yourself as well. It's like, how much do you want it? Which most teachers should actually say to people. They're like, how much do you actually want to do it? How much do you actually want to push yourself? Which is another message that actually brings to young people. Like, do you actually want to be person you want to be remembered for, or do you actually just don't want to be the person you want to be? And it's such a positive song, as I keep saying. It's positivity central mostly on this album, except Sad Song, which wasn't included on the original. And then we move on to Bring It On Down. Oh, love this song. Obviously, I mentioned the incident with Tony McCarroll, but the mix is by Owen Morris. Obviously, this album was recorded several times because it was in the Clear Matches Studios, Sawmills in Cornwall, the Pink Museum in Liverpool, and of course the Matrix in London. Obviously, they had to record it 4 times because they couldn't get the mix right, especially to this song, Bring It On Down, which I'll talk about in a minute. But then, obviously, Mark Coyle obviously a friend of Noel Gallagher during his time as a roadie for the Inspiral Carpets. Obviously knew each other, and they kept mixing it, and it just didn't sound right. And then they got Owen Morris, and Owen did an absolutely incredible job mixing this album, especially the first song, Rock and Roll Star. As they mentioned in Supersonic, when they first played that on the mixing desk, they absolutely blew them away. And it was just blasting everywhere. And I have to say, it's absolutely amazing mix by Owen, which was very, very underrated. But it's obviously what makes the album it is, and why people love it. And then going back to Bring It On Down, a very good song, which is it's very youthful song, as I have to say. Obviously the lyrics, Alan McGee, obviously there, who signed Oasis to Creation Records, absolutely love this song because of the message, like you're the outcast, you're the undercast. It's like you're the outcast. I can't remember it off by heart, this one, all the time. So you're the outcast, you're the outlaw. I don't want to sing it because I can't sing. So you're the outcast, you're the underclass, but you don't care, but you're living fast. Finally, there we go, got it. And it's a great message to which young people are saying, but they don't care, but you're living fast. And obviously people, the outcasts, most people consider themselves as outcasts, but like the real outcasts, obviously they're shunned away by the people. And you could say Oasis were outcasts, or where they lived in Manchester. But yeah, this is an absolutely amazing song. It's punk rock. Obviously, they love the Sex Pistols. I'm not the biggest fan of the Sex Pistols, but I absolutely love Bring It On Down. And it's a very punk rock song. Which obviously, as I've said, punk is not my favourite, but I can never skip the song on the album, especially the intro, and then right at the end, obviously another long song. I just can't turn it off. I could want, obviously, the problem is, especially on Be Here Now, the songs were so long. I could want this to continue for ages. It's absolutely staggering. Now we move on to the Real Youth album. The Real Youth album. Yeah, this is a youth album. The Real Youth anthem, as I was going to say, Cigarettes and Alcohol, and this puts absolutely people beyond the song, like, oh, it's about cigarettes and alcohol. But yeah, obviously it's about cigarettes and alcohol. It is about cigarettes and alcohol. But yeah, it's a very youth culture song. As Bring It On Down was in my imagination. I can't remember that part. Was like, is it worth the aggravation to find yourself a job when there's nothing worth working for? That is an absolutely amazing lyric, and that's what young people like tend to think when going for jobs. Especially with that, is it worth the aggravation to find yourself a job when there's nothing worth working for? It's a staggering lyric, and like as a young person myself, we always question, is this job actually gonna be worth it in the end? And that's what the song is saying. And obviously I love the lyric, you could wait for a lifetime to spend your days in the sunshine, which is very good. It's just, I love all the songs in this album. Obviously Up in the Sky and Sad Song are not my favourite, but Cigarettes and Alcohol is definitely up there. It's another Oasis classic, and I don't think this gets enough recognition, especially by the casual fans. But yeah, with Cigarettes and Alcohol, definitely up in my top 5 for this album, which I will rank later. And then we move on to Digsy's Dinner, which is definitely the worst song on the album. The story of this song was they had a friend called Digsy, and then he just splatted out some random stuff, and then Noel wrote it into lyrics. Even Digsy hates it when they interviewed him for this. It's definitely one of Oasis's worst songs. It's not great by the imagination, but the best lyric death on this album is, these could be the best days of our lives, but I don't think we'll be living very wise. Another great lyric, and great to young people as well as myself. I should talk about definitely the youth culture, as I've said, with Bring It On Down and Cigarettes and Alcohol. It brings the youth culture to Oasis, and they're like, yeah, we can listen to these messages, and like we can actually, believe these lyrics, especially Supersonic as well. And obviously, I believe all these lyrics, and they're just absolutely staggering. And Noel Gallagher was obviously one of the best songwriters of his generation, but I don't think he's recognised enough by people, and people really need to listen to his solo stuff as well, especially his first, which I will actually review for you guys, which is Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds, which is his first album, which is absolutely staggering. I love it, one of my favourite albums of all time. But yeah, moving back to the youth culture of this album, and I'm like, if you're a youth and you're listening to this, which I want everyone to listen to this, but if you're a youth and you're wondering what album should I listen to or what I should get into, listen to Oasis, and even the Beatles as well. But absolutely listen to this album, because you'll absolutely love it, and then you'll connect to the lyrics. And especially when you're like 17, or 18, just getting into work, and you're literally just like, is it even worth working? And then you can put on Cigarettes and Alcohol, and you'll be like, yeah, this is how I'm feeling at the moment. And then I'm like, perhaps I'm not alone in this world, and other people actually experience stuff like this. And then you can connect to people through this song. And that's what's amazing about songs, they actually connect people. It's like obviously they're like a story, and it brings people together. Was it so concerts, and then was it you bring that together, and they play this song, and you can sing your heart out, and then just feel the rhythm of this song, and that's what's amazing about albums and artists. And they do not get enough recognition by people. Obviously, people love music, but was it songs and albums do have a big part in your life and a big part to play in who you're going to be. And I think looking into the future, this album is definitely going to be a big part of who I am going to be in the future. Then moving on, obviously talking about Dixie's Dinner, well, going back from Dixie, obviously he doesn't like it either. He talks about strawberries and cream and having lasagna. It's absolutely balderdash. This song is crap. It's rubbish. But with it, obviously I love it for maybe some of the right reasons and the wrong reasons. But yeah, it's a crap song. But I don't know why I like it, but I do like it. And then was it personally my favourite song on the album, Slide Away. Not released as a single. It should have been absolutely amazing, this song. Was it... If Shaker Maker gets released, why can't Slide Away be released? The song, the lyrics in this album are obviously it's a love song, and obviously the people that you break up with or just not feeling it with anymore. It's just, and then also it can be a good relationship song as well. So it can be good and bad for relationships. But yeah, when listening to this song, I automatically connected to it. It's an absolutely staggering song, and I can't believe it wasn't even released as a single. But yeah, even was Andy Bell, who later joined Oasis, we love this song, and he said what makes a great album is a great song that's not released as a single, and this is absolutely definitely a great song for the album, and it should have been released as a single. Forget Shaker Maker, if I'm honest, and put Slide Away as the second single, and perhaps it might have done well. And it's a great rock ballad. Obviously, trying to think of an Oasis song to compare it to. Obviously, I do like Don't Go Away, which is on Be Here Now, but it doesn't have, which is another rock ballad. Excuse me. It's another rock ballad on Be Here Now, which is Don't Go Away. It's a good song, but Slide Away is absolutely on a different level to all the other rock ballads, and I definitely put this in my top 5 Oasis songs of all time, and definitely number 1 on this album. Is obviously going into the chorus like, now that you're mine, we'll find a way of chasing the sun, let me be the one. It was just absolutely amazing, this song. I just can't praise it enough. This is definitely my favourite song on the album, and I want to hear your guys' top songs on this album, and what's the worst songs on this album. Remember to comment down below, and also give me recommendations of what to review next, because I'll review absolutely anything. Then we're going to the last song of the album, which is Married with Children. Staggering song. What a way to end this album. Obviously, an acoustic song. They recorded this in, a bedroom in Manchester. I forgot whose house it was. Have to look into that. Remember, Wizard guys, to look into this album. The story of this album is absolutely amazing. Obviously, Married with Children, a very slow song acoustically, and the lyrics are very, very good. Obviously, there's no need to say you're sorry, goodbye, I'm going home. It's obviously not going well with a relationship with your partner, but I'm gonna say, even though then I'll come back to you. Yeah, so I can't remember all the lyrics. My mind's not that brilliant, but I remember some. But Married with Children, most people will turn off after Slide Away. I remember first listening to this, and I'm like, oh, that's it after Slide Away, because it slowly fades out. And then you're like, that's it. And then I suddenly heard an acoustic guitar, and I'm like, oh my god, there's one last song. And then I'm so glad I didn't turn it off, because I absolutely love Married with Children. Obviously, it's going to put people off. I'm like, almost an acoustic slow song, and people won't like it. But it's a very, 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 very good song. I can't praise it high enough. And yeah, that's all the songs on the album. And then I'm going to rank my top 5? I think I'm not. I should rank all the songs on the album. So So there are 3, 6, 9, 12 songs on the This is the bonus album. I'll do it from 11. Number 11, I have to put Dixie's Dinner. Not a great song. You could have put Half the World Away on here. I'm like, that's another discussion I have to talk about. Half the World Away, and all the songs that should have been on this album, which I will discuss later. Obviously, number 11, I have to put Dixie's Dinner. Not a great song. Not great lyrics, even though there's one notable. And number 10, I would have to put Up in the Sky. Not great. Definitely not. Was it the greatest Oasis song? But it's not a bad song in the slightest. But you could definitely replace Up in the Sky. Was it with another of the B-sides? Then this is when I'm going to start struggling. Was it obviously Dixie's Dinner and Up in the Sky in a different category in themselves, and then I absolutely struggle to put all the other songs. This could be a whole 10 minutes of me trying to rank the songs. Then I put Columbia, even though I absolutely love it. So it's 11, which is Dixie's Dinner. 10, I'd put Up in the Sky. 9, I put Columbia. 8, I'd say Married with Children. Good song, but could be better. Then that's 8. So then 7, I put Cigarettes and Alcohol. 6, Bring It On Down. 5. Oh no, what am I talking about? I put Shaker Maker. Right, strike that, reverse that. So number 11, I put Dixie's Dinner. See, my mind keeps changing all the time of this album, which makes a great album. Like, you just can't think of where to put all these songs. But the bottom two are definitely Dixie's Dinner, and then Up in the Sky. So that's 10. That's 11, 10. Number 9, discussing again, Shaker Maker at number 9. Number 8. Still straight. Number 8, Columbia. Number 7, Bring It On Down. Oh my god. Obviously I'll do it from 11 to 5. So it just keeps ever changing. You guys keep hearing my frustration because there's some with the songs in this album I absolutely love. So then you've got, so let's strike that, reverse that again. Then we've got number 11, which is Dixie's Dinner. Then 10, Up in the Sky. 9, you've got Shaker Maker. 8, Columbia. 7, Married with Children. 6, Bring It On Down. 5, Supersonic. So then got all the songs in there. Then my top 4 will be Rock and Roll Star. And Rock and Roll Star. So hard. So hard to rank this album. I'll just do my number 1. Was it top 2? Definitely top 2. Move on. So I put those in order. Forget 3. Who doesn't even like the number 3? And then so my top 2 would definitely be Live Forever. And so rank cigarette. Was it? Forget all that. I'd say Cigarettes and Alcohol, and and number 2, and then I put Live Forever at number 1. Nothing beats Live Forever. Nothing can. So yeah, that's all the songs ranked, or at least tried to rank without me getting angry, because I literally can't do a ranking, guys. So if you want a ranking in the future for a video, I literally can't do a ranking because my mind, it's ever changing with this album. And yeah, that is all my favourite songs on this album. Now the next thing I'm going to talk about is the songs that should have been on this album. I've said I don't like Dixie's Dinner and Up in the Sky, and you could replace these songs. Which is the downside of Noel Gallagher. His B-sides are absolutely amazing and should have been on the album. Some of the songs should have been on the album. Of definitely maybe Once Stormy Morning Glory and Be Here Now, and they would have been absolutely, obviously the top 2 class regardless of the songs. But Be Here Now, you could definitely put some of the songs on there. Also, the songs of the time period of definitely maybe. You got Fade Away, which they performed at Glastonbury in '94, and I love Fade Away. It's an absolutely amazing song. Was it another great song to put to young people while we're living the dreams we have as children as Fade Away? Which then obviously is the growing up element of life as well. All the things you think about during the time when you were young and they fade away. You don't want them to. And especially when getting introduced to this song was the first lyrics. When I was young, I thought I had my own key. I knew exactly what I wanted to be. And that's obviously when I was young, I wanted to be a train driver. And it's not obviously in my mind at the moment. I still remember it because it's going to be a part of my life. But that's the brilliance of this song. It makes you remember what you wanted to be when you were younger. And that would be... And we like to reflect on life a lot, especially people now are like, oh yeah, we like to look at the albums of old. Obviously, the albums of new are good, but obviously they weren't the original albums of the time. But going back to Fade Away, you could just connect to this song in any way. So as I've said, music of that time was obviously more think about life. Obviously it's more club music today, and I do like music of today, but it's not as good as it is back in '94 and all the other periods. But Fade Away is a very good reflection song of life and of anything in general, and as I've talked about, music, so that you could reflect this song on music if you even wanted to. And another song that should have been Half the World Away. Everyone's heard of this song, Half the World Away. Which obviously people have covered this song a lot, and I can't believe Noel didn't put this song. I remember putting a story the other day on my Instagram. Follow my Instagram, was at Jacob _ was it Jacob _ Cullip __. Very weird, I know, but go and give it a follow, and I'll be doing lots of media on there. Yeah, so going back to Half the World Away, staggering song. Which obviously it's the moving on phase of life. I like to compare songs with my own life, and obviously in a few years' time I'm going to leave, even though my parents probably don't want me to. So obviously moving away, so I would like to leave the city. This old town don't smell too greatly yet. And so I can feel the warning signs running around my mind. It's obviously the dangerous part, like I'm leaving. I'm like, oh god, is it going to be the right decision for me and the family? But obviously in life we have to progress. We can't stagnate. We have to keep moving on. But Half the World Away, obviously I've seen a lot of covers of the song and all of them are great, but it's not the original. And even when Noel played this live, was it on the Definitely Maybe Deluxe Edition, which I recommend you guys to listen to as well, because you've got all the songs performed live and acoustically. I absolutely love acoustic songs. And yeah, Half the World Away, definitely a song you guys should listen to. And listen to the Master Plan as well, which I will review. The Master Plan is all the brilliant B-sides from Definitely Maybe era to Be Here Now, and yeah, all of them are great. And of course, I Am the Walrus. You could have put this song on the album. Obviously, everyone knows it's the Beatles song. I love it, the Beatles version as well, but I do love the Oasis version of I Am the Walrus, especially this one, which was live at Glasgow Cath House in June 1994. And yeah, obviously you hear the Beatles version. It's not the most fastest paced song in the world. The lyrics are absolutely bonkers and nonsense, but it's absolutely amazing. Talk about yellow matter custard dripping out a dead dog's eye. It's a very peculiar lyric, which was written by John Lennon at that time. Obviously, John Lennon is a big influence on of Liam, especially. Also, I love John Lennon as well, but I love I Am the Walrus, even though it's absolutely peculiar. I remember discussing this with people. Obviously, I have a lot of with people friends who love the Beatles. And some people like Oasis as well. Most of them prefer the Beatles version. I probably do have to say I prefer the Beatles version, but I do like this one. And it's just, as I've said, bonkers lyrics. Was it Salamina priestess climbing up the Eiffel Tower? Absolutely. Oh, it's bonkers. But yeah. If you guys haven't listened to Iron the Walrus, definitely listen to the Beatles versions first before you listen to Oasis. Otherwise, you'll think Oasis wrote it. I remember seeing the other day, people thought, this person wrote Half the World Away. It was Noel Gallagher. Literally, was people literally like, was it with Ellie Goulding literally taking your song, not taking, but doing a cover of, was it Your Song by Elton John, another great song. I'll review Elton John if you guys want me to. And yeah, and same, I remember, I thought the time I was young back then when it was released, I'm like, oh, did she write this? And then you look into it and Elton John, and you're like, obviously that version is so much better than Ellie Goulding's. But yeah, this is human life as well, going into us as humans. We like to assume stuff before we actually research into stuff. And definitely with Your Song and Half the World Away, obviously Your Song by Elton John, staggering song, love it. Everyone loves Your Song. And Half the World Away, love it as well. I forgot who covered it. Have to look into who covered it. But definitely listen to covers as well. But people have to remember Half the World Away, written by Noel Gallagher. Absolutely staggering. And that is the end of the Cullip Hour podcast. We're not really an hour, but obviously has a nice ring to it. But next time we will be discussing, obviously, Oasis' most best-selling album and most popular album by the commoners, as I would say. What's the Story, Morning Glory? Remember, guys, to leave a like and share it. If you know an Oasis fan, why not share it to them? And then they can put their opinion in the comments. Remember to rank all your comments and put it in the comment section. Where else would you put it? And remember to DM me at Jacob _Cullip__ for what you want next or you want to discuss about Oasis, because I'm always free to discuss any music, to be honest. And remember, guys, to have a good day, and remember to be yourself and you can't be no one else. And I'll see you next time on the Cullip Hour podcast. Cheers.